Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today I've got a very special video for you. We just came off a long hunt with Sir Michael and John from Guns Out TV, and there's a few things that I noticed and observed in terms of manipulating ARs in a hunting environment that I'd like to kind of pass along and share with some of you guys. Just some tips that I've picked up over the years on how to manipulate these things quietly in a hunting environment where you're not going to get heard by game animals or potentially two-legged game as well, I suppose we could say. But we will dive into this, and I think you'll find this rather enlightening if you've never thought about some of these things. Maybe this will help some of you. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our friends at USCCA. If you guys are ever involved in some type of a shooting, you need to have someone like USCCA at your side, okay? Their team of lawyers will help you through any situation that you might run into. I mean, let's face it, you know, the world is scary and a lot of folks are carrying firearms for self-protection, and it is very important to protect yourself. But even if you are involved in a legitimate shooting and everything is totally on the up and up, you're still going to need legal representation. USCCA also has a ton of awesome training aids, videos, instructions, all types of things that they put out in terms of media. So they're a very powerful asset to have access to for the training as well as protecting yourself if you're involved in a shooting. So check them out at USCCA and tell them we sent you over there. All right, so there's a lot of things on the AR that make a lot of noise, right? I mean, let's look at this charging handle, okay? Even if I just begin to depress back here, all right, the charging handle is noisy. The safety, that's noisy. The magazine release, that's kind of noisy, right? Even the bolt stop, all right, I'm pushing it right here. That's noisy, okay? And I noticed in our hunting that we did last week, I remember at one point, and I think John just got excited. I was like, hey man, you know, you're gonna take that deer? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna take the shot. And what does he do? He goes, boop, and you know, you take the safety off. It's in just a range environment, it's easy to just, you know, forget that that thing makes noise. Now, here's the thing about deer hunting, and this is specifically related to just deer as an animal, because that's what we were hunting last week. But deer live and die by their noses, right? You're not going to beat that nose, but their vision and their hearing is not as good as people might think they are. You know what I mean? So as long as you've got the scent under control and you can, you know, watch out for the noise that you're making, you'll be, you know, in pretty good. On manipulating the safety on an AR, I would recommend using your support hand. Now, of course, this is weird for me because of the way that I've got this rifle turned right now. Grab the safety itself, just like this, just pinch it, and slowly move it, just like this. You should not hear anything click or snap into place if you do that. You can do the same thing to put it back on safe. I can grab it and pinch it, control the safety, gently twist, retain pressure on it, just give it a nice gentle turn. There you go. So that's how to manipulate the safety quietly, all right? What about, now hear that click? Where that plunger in there click back in place, listen. Hear that? If you pinch it and you grab it and you control it and you move very slowly, you will not hear it, okay? That'll keep you from getting busted by a game animal, okay? Let's talk about the mag release a little bit, all right? Even magazines make noise, right? So there's a lot of things that we got to look at here. So say we want to put a magazine in the gun quietly and not get detected, and we're going to go over putting the gun in the battery quietly too without being detected. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the bolt being out of battery, and we're going to move on to the forward assist in a second. But this is all about manipulating this weapon system quietly, right, for hunting situations. So say that I want to put I've got a closed bolt. Let's just say, it doesn't matter if the bolt is open or closed, but let's get over the noise that the magazine release might make. Well, how can we get over that? What you're going to do is you're going to depress the magazine release pretty far. Push it in. All right, take your, and this is a Magpul plastic dummy round. This is a training round, not a live round. We're going to go ahead and slowly and carefully put the magazine in the mag well. Notice I've got the magazine release depressed. Okay. We're going to push until we start to feel a little bit of resistance. All right. Take your palm, lift up, just like this. Push up, gently release the magazine release. The reason that you know it's not going to make a click is because if you look on the left side of the gun, you'll see that it's seated all the way. So you're going to go ahead and let go of the magazine release. Gently let go of the magazine. All right, should stay in place. Give it a little bit of a push, just like this. Reach up. Don't let it wobble, because listen, right? So you're keeping pressure on the mag so it's not wobbling, and then just give it a nice tug without any fore or aft movement. See that little click it made? Give it a little tug. She's good. She's seated. So that's one way you can get around that. Another one's a charging handle. Now this joker makes a lot of noise. Okay, how can you withdraw the bolt and manipulate the gun in any way at all without being heard? You know, it's weird. Like a bolt-action rifle, like a Mauser or whatever type of random hunting rifle you might have, most people can generally get around in the chamber pretty freaking quietly without making a lot of noise, and they can take the safety off without making a lot of noise, because a lot of things on the AR are, you know, driven by springs, and they have mechanical bonds and latches that, you know, manipulate a lot of different things that have to happen because it's a semi-auto. It can be a little harder to manipulate one of these guns in a quiet manner, and the charging handle is no exception. Now some people would think, well, if I'm going to be quiet with the charging handle, then I should just grab it and just pull it back slow, right? Well, listen what happens if you do that. All right, if I let off this plunger in here that holds this latch shut, listen here. See, if you let go, if you happen to let go, when it pushes forward, listen to what it does. So how do you get around that? The way you do it is you take the charging handle and you push it forward like this. Take your thumb and push the charging handle forward. All right, listen. I'm relieving the pressure off of that plunger, so that spring is getting compressed. I'm pushing forward on the charging handle. I'm going to, again, pinching the charging handle and pulling it back, or the actual latch. I'm going to just gently compress the spring, and I'm going to relieve pressure off my thumb and begin to pull the charging handle back. Listen, I'm going to do it again where you can hear it. It doesn't make any noise at all. Ready? Right. So we're going to begin to cheat the charging handle back. Okay. Pull it to a hard stop. On the left side of the gun, you have the bolt stop. This, you can go ahead and once this is at a hard stop to the rear, go ahead and push it in like this. Gently relieve the pressure off the charging handle. If you feel closely, you can actually feel that bolt stop move and shift a little bit where the bolt puts pressure on it. You can feel it if you feel for it, okay? So now it's locked to the rear. I would leave the charging handle back. Let's say we want to load the gun really quietly. I would not recommend putting a magazine into the rifle and then stripping the round out of the magazine, because there's a lot of noise that's really hard to get around. Now, because this magazine only has one dummy round in it and it's not full, it's kind of hard to demonstrate this without it making a bit of noise. But if you take and relieve the tension on the follower, okay, with the mag in your hand, relieve the tension, gently pull the round out with your fingers. Slow, methodically, just like that. So let's just pretend there's 19 rounds in this 20 round mag. All right, we'll set it off to the side. Now we're going to load this gun without making hardly any noise at all. The bolts to the rear. We're going to take the round, we're going to put it directly into the chamber without dropping it. We're going to put the round directly in the chamber. Just like this. Okay. Now, don't pull back on the charging handle because this is going to happen. Listen. All right, that was the spring tension for the bolt stop coming out of battery there. So, all right, I've applied the tension back onto the bolt. We're going to grab that paddle with our fingers and we're going to gently allow it to settle back in without making any noise. So we don't get that little click there. Slowly, all right, we have a round in the chamber. We're going to slowly allow the bolt to close, just like this. Use both fingers so you get some good control. All right. All right, notice how the bolt is out of battery. I'm going to do this just for demonstrative purposes. Look. All right, see? That's how much the bolt is out of battery. See how that charging handle moves? While keeping pressure on the charging handle and the latch that locks it shut, gently and quietly push the forward assist. You can take your fingers and just hold on to the shell deflector like this. Watch the bolt. While keeping the latch depressed, put pressure on the rear of the charging handle. Gently let go. Reach up, push the forward assist. Give it a good shove. The gun's ready to shoot. Now that's how to get around in the chamber quietly. Now let's just say, for instance, a lot of us, okay? Oh, we talk about how to get around out of the chamber quietly. All right, we'll do that real quick before we talk about sort of your pre-hunting checks that you're going to do if you're going to go ahead and make the rifle ready to go before you go hunting. I mean, a lot of us will do that. We'll talk about some of the things that people get wrong there too. To unload the rifle quietly, we already showed you how to remove the magazine. Well, put the mag in. Okay, look, I'm just going to go ahead and put a full mag in there. All right, so there's a dummy round in the chamber. The bolt is in full battery. We're going to remove the magazine and unload the gun as quietly as humanly possible. So, same way. Push up on the magazine, okay? Pretty hard. Give it some good force. Push up. Press the magazine release as you're pushing up. I'm putting force on the bottom of the magazine. I'm pushing the magazine release. Gently and slowly. Look at that. Listen. That little bit of tension. The reason that you're hearing that scraping and that little bit of spring noise is because the magazine's empty. On a full mag, you won't really hear that, okay? So push up, press the magazine release, and you can go ahead and just let the magazine go. And then gently, without fore and aft movement or side movement, just grab it and pull it out slowly and quietly. I've still got the magazine release pressed down. Gently and slowly release it. So now the magazine's out of the gun. All right, now getting the round out of the chamber without making noise might be a little bit more difficult. I'd recommend cupping your hand like this over the bottom of the magazine well, all right? And again, remember, with the charging handle, push forward, release a bit of that tension, and go ahead and work that bolt back. All right, you're not going to be able to get around that clicking noise. That's one thing, but if I, look here, I got the round in my hand. All right, and again, to shut the bolt, we'll go ahead and do the same thing while leaving the latch depressed. Push forward, put forward pressure on it, let go, and that's it. Now, what if we wanted to have our rifle ready to go before we go out hunting? Let's say, you know, some folks, I'm kind of in the camp, especially with ARs. I like to get the gun ready to go and have it ready. So let's talk about that a little bit. So say we had a fully loaded magazine. You're going to have a lot more pressure up against these lips on a fully loaded magazine, and some people will tend to, I think what it comes down to, and we're going to make noise here because we're just pretending we're back at deer camp now. What a lot of people do when they're loading ARs, I've noticed, and I'm not calling anyone out, I'm just saying, this is just observations I'm trying to share because I notice people do it. So what folks will do is they will, let's just pretend this is a fully loaded mag and we're about to go out and hunt coyotes or deer or whatever we're going to do, or go hog hunting, and I want to load the gun. I've seen a lot of people do this number here. They'll go, all right, well, let's look. Did the round chamber? That time it did. But with all that tension, on the magazine, would it have chambered all the way? Maybe not. It doesn't take this bolt being that far out of battery for the gun not to fire. And I'll demonstrate that a little bit. I mean, I can't do it with live ammo, but if you take and just pull the bolt back, even just a scotch, right? Okay? Notice how much that bolt's back. If you had a full magazine and you rode that bolt like that, and that bolt did not go all the way into battery because you didn't load the gun correctly, you're gonna get a click. The gun's not gonna go off because the bolt's not in battery. And you wouldn't believe how many times I've seen situations. Look how far that bolt had to go back to reset the trigger. And now look, because I rode that bolt forward, now look where it is. It's out of battery. Well, of course we know we can fix that by hitting the forward assist and pushing that bolt all the way in the battery. When you go to load the rifle to go out and hunt deer, what I'd recommend you do, especially on a full magazine, go ahead and lock the bolt to the rear, place the full magazine inside the rifle. Now remember, we're back at deer cam, doesn't matter what kind of noise we're making. And just hit the bolt stop. Let that bolt fall all the way. Don't ride the bolt, because that can cause it not to be in battery all the way. Right now we know we're in battery, but what I always do is, even though I can look at that bolt and I know just from looking that it's in battery, I go ahead and just give her a little hit on the forward assist there, close your dust cover, and make sure the weapon is on safe, and go about your business, right? But in the deer stand, things happen, right? Like maybe we didn't do those checks prior to leaving, or maybe we got excited and we got into the deer stand and we didn't realize, oh crap, I didn't even chamber around. And now all of a sudden, if you're not familiar with trying to manipulate an AR quietly and all of the little noises that these things can make in a hunting environment, you might find yourself ruining your hunt, inadvertently not realizing, oh man, maybe I should have thought about how to manipulate this thing a little bit quieter. Now, some of us, when we've been found in that situation, we just rack the bolt and it doesn't matter, and that's fine. But what if it actually happened to us not too long ago? What if you forgot to put a round in the chamber, and now you're about to squeeze the trigger on an animal and you don't have a round in the chamber? So hopefully some of these things that I showed you might be able to point you in the right direction for how to, if you do find yourself in a situation where you need to manipulate an AR very quietly. Those are just some little hacks and tips that I found can be very beneficial. There's a lot of things the AR is a great rifle, but there are a lot of things about it that they are noisy. There's a lot of little things. I mean, there's lots of little gadgets, and it always makes me think about, we are here near Christmas, and it always makes me think about the Who's and Whoville and all the little clickety clanks and all the little random noises. I mean, the AR is a cacophony of random sounds that they make, and if you don't manage those sounds, they can give you away. So I wanted to make this video. It was just based on some of my observations from deer camp over the last week, and some of the observations that I've made over the years with these guns. I mean, the AR is a fantastic gun, and they really have found their way into a lot of different hunting environments in the last, several years, and rightfully so. Like, they're really accurate. I mean, the 6mm arc that we took out, it worked really well. We were very happy with it. So there's a lot of folks using these for hunting at a very, very increasing rate. So maybe this video will help some of you that are using an AR to hunt and how to manipulate. The main thing is really that safety. That's where a lot of people make noise in the deer stand, is not manipulating that safety in a quiet manner. And I think a lot of people mess up with the bolt battery issue. So I think as long as you can just keep those two things under check and remember to chamber your rifle and have it ready, I don't think you're going to run into any issues. So y'all have a great day. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe you learned something. Is there something that I missed that's noisy on this gun that maybe we need to reiterate in another video? Let me know. Maybe we can revisit it. Have yourselves a great day. Many more videos on the way. We'll see you soon.